Well, hello and welcome back to the Common Farm Flowers channel. It's the hottest day of the year so far, mid-August, and I have a visitor. This is lovely Sarah Gray from Bloom and Gray, enormously successful YouTube channel. Do go and have a look. Who is also, once upon a time, years ago, one of my students.
Yeah.
Came through the door saying, what's it like to be a flower farmer? How do you do it? And here we are, all these years later. And I'm not going to miss the opportunity to interview Sarah back.
Yeah. Yes, so I asked you if I could come here and then we ended up having a switcheroo.
Yes, exactly. Well, because we've got to plug in, Sarah's got to plug in her camera. So while the camera's recharging, I thought we'd have a chat. Anyway, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It feels like a full circle moment coming back here 8 years after I came here the first time.
This place, we haven't looked round yet, but this
Yeah.
will look very different, I think.
Yeah.
It's sort of tidier. Definitely tidier and, growing slightly differently. And you're in a very special position now because you've been flower farming for 8 years, but now you're in a hiatus moment
I am.
looking for your next patch of land.
Yeah. So I've been growing for 8 years now and recently left the farm that I was growing on and I'm farmless at the moment. So I've got the opportunity right now to float around and consider what happens next.
Well, that's amazing. And are you feeling as though you have a really strong feeling about what you'd like? If you were to start again, what is your dream flower farm?
It's actually a very difficult question to answer because there's so many different aspects to flower farming. There's so many different avenues that you can go down. And I actually think that wholesale is difficult. You don't have great margins on wholesale, but I can see how definitely growing on a larger scale than I was doing before is the way to go. I think that it was quite limiting the amount of space. I was on about half an acre.
Yeah.
And there's only so much you can grow on that and how so much money you can make out of it. So
Half an acre is interesting because you think, we grow on 1,000 metres of metre wide beds, which if you squish them all into one piece of land is a quarter of an acre.
Yeah.
So if I double that to make your half acre, but you still haven't got elbow room, have you?
No.
You need a shed, you need a greenhouse, you've got to be able to get your trolley round, you've got to be able to have the compost heap.
Yeah.
Yeah, so half an acre is quite limiting. So you'd like a bit more space.
Yeah, and also I'm quite passionate about soil health and that kind of thing. So if I had an area to grow on, I would like some of it to be set aside, wildflowers, meadow or cover crops, something to make mulch, maybe
Yes.
produce mulch on site.
Produce your own mulch.
Yeah, would be quite interesting.
I think if I could, I would like to run a small enough business that I could be like a closed circle. So I could make all my own compost. I'm rubbish at making compost. I made all my own compost. I would not then spend £4,000 a year on compost, so I don't need to make £4,000 a year before I spend it.
Yeah.
And seed saving and all of that. I'm rubbish at all of that.
Yeah.
And would you specialise more in what you grew, or you've always grown quite a wide variety of flowers?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm sort of in my mind, dahlias is probably the way that I would go. But it also depends on where I ended up and what market was around me.
Yeah.
Who would be interested in buying the flowers. I think that really sort of makes the decision for you on what you grow.
I think that's what people say all the time. It's the route to market. How do I get my flowers to market? And here in rural Somerset, if I wanted to get my flowers into Bristol, it's an hour and 20 minutes to drive. I'm not going to do that. I want to keep it closer. So that really shapes what I choose to grow.
Yeah.
And so, it depends where you end up, I guess.
Yeah, there's so many things to consider. I mean, some people do pick your own, and in theory it's less work because the customers are coming to pick their own, but you need to keep your plot looking very presentable at all times, and you're sort of at the mercy of the crowds.
Yeah, you are a bit.
And so, yeah, it's like do you want, how much of a relationship do you want with the customers? How involved do you want to get with it? Do you want to sell wholesale and make less of a margin? It's just...
I think the lesson for me, I think also you've got to work with your character.
Mm.
And so I am very easily bored, which is sorry. And so I grow a wide variety of crops because it keeps me interested.
Yeah.
If I just had fields of eucalyptus, I'm not sure I'd do it.
Mm. And also that kind of having a variety of crops helps you with the resilience aspect, and the climate is up and down. You just don't know what you're going to get year after year. So having a variety of crops means that if one thing fails, you've got backups elsewhere. So.
That's true. Do you find that if you're in the northeast, so we're in southwest Somerset, southwest England, and you are much cooler and much drier than we are.
Yeah.
And sandier soil, probably?
Yeah, no, it's very clear
Is
soil.
it very clear?
Yeah.
So I always think you should be growing all the tulips and all the narcissi.
Yeah. Which are a pain in the backside to grow.
They're quite expensive to plant.
Yeah.
But equally, in quantity, it's difficult, isn't it? It's just the choices you make.
It's a gamble, yeah.
I grow hardly any tulips anymore.
Yeah.
All ranunculus.
Yeah.
Ranuncs, that's where the money is. And it's easier. You get 5 flowers per claw as opposed to 1.
Yeah.
And the claw is cheaper.
Yeah.
Actually, not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, they are pretty pricey now, yeah.
Anyway, swings and roundabouts. So, you are travelling around visiting lots of different flower farms.
Yeah.
What a brilliant thing, using your time usefully. So is there anyone who you've found really, really inspiring?
I mean, I'm about 4 interviews deep at this point, you being the 4th. So it's interesting actually just to see how different people come at it from different angles. The week before, I went to a eucalyptus plantation, which was really interesting, and that was something a little bit different. So, I mean, I have been flower farming for 8 years, so I kind of know how it works. So when I come to different people's flower farms, it's different in some aspects, but a lot of it is the same. So going to the eucalyptus place was a good experience.
Yeah, completely different.
Yeah, and I could probably approach the interview a little bit better as well because I was clueless. So I was asking the questions that the viewers wanted to know. So yeah. That's amazing.
But I've just got to check. We don't want to go for hours and hours, but I really love the fact that you have, while you've not got any land, you're still supplying markets. You're still supplying your customers.
Yeah.
Out of how few beds did you say?
4 10-metre long beds and about 30 supermarket crates.
So generously, that's 55 running metres of metre wide bed, the equivalent of.
Yeah.
And that's giving you enough to do, with a little bit of extra, to do farmers markets.
Yeah. Well, I have been buying a few things in for the farmers markets, but I've got a bed of dahlias, or a bed and a half of dahlias. I've planted them really close together, and they actually haven't started flowering yet because it's been so dry this season. So I'll be interested to see how they do with such close spacing. And then I have some sunflowers, zinnias, cosmos, what else? Marigolds, just stuff that you can really make a pretty simple market bouquet out of.
Yeah.
No perennials, which has been a challenge because perennials are just so handy for ease. But yeah, I'm trying to produce as much as I can out of that space.
I do think to be able to, it is amazing what you can get out of very little space. I think you have to be very, very clever what you plant. But people often say to me, oh, it's not fair, you've got acres. And you're like, actually, really? You could have yes, it's a micro flower farm, but you could have a micro flower farm in the back here, if you're clever.
I think it probably makes you into a better flower farmer if you start off on a small space, because you have to cram things in and plan your successions really well.
And also grow value. You can't afford to grow stuff that's not worth anything, because you're not going to make any money.
Yeah.
Only grow things which are worth a lot. Never mind what your customer wants. No, I haven't got any cornflowers. I still don't grow cornflowers. And I see my colleagues going, oh, look at this wonderful crop of cornflowers. It's my best seller of the year. And I'm still going, no, I'm not doing it.
I remember when I came here 8 years ago, you told me not to grow Phacelia, or you told everybody not to grow Phacelia, and I've never grown it because of that. But then I had it in a cover crop mix, and it smelled good and looked quite good, and I was in a bit of a pinch, so I picked some out of the cover crop, and it was fine, but I would never grow it as a crop.
It's we have it. It sort of seeds itself around the place because it's so pretty, and the bees love it so much. So you plant it as a cover crop, and the idea is that you plough it in. I have never ploughed in Phacelia in my entire life, and there are times of the year when you're like, I really need a bit of blue, and it looks great, so come on in. But no, I wouldn't say, because I don't think I could sell it to other people for large sums of money. They don't know what it is.
Yeah, it feels a bit like a weed, trying to sell somebody a weed.
Yeah. So have it for the bees, but not necessarily for sale. Oh, well, I'm glad you remember the things that we talked about when you came.
I actually found a notebook the other day that had all of my notes in from when I came, and I did take a picture of it, and it was interesting because I remember it saying that you sold sweet peas at 90p a stem, I think it was at the time, or to sell them at 90p a stem. And I was thinking, the price of things hasn't really changed much in the last 7 years, but look at all the other industries that have massively.
I completely agree. I know. Well, except I think what's happened is because we've had COVID and war in Ukraine and Brexit, the price of imported flowers has gone up.
Yeah.
And so while we might not, I have put my prices up a bit, but not massively. But I am now, I now don't look at imported flowers and go, I can't even begin to compete. I'm now in the ballpark, which I think makes it much easier for people to buy from us, because our customers really don't want to buy imported flowers. Do you do wedding? Have you done lots of weddings in your time?
I used to, at the beginning I did full service weddings, but hated it in the end, so I just found it really stressful, and I think when you're working on your own as well, you kind of present this wedding to somebody and you hope that they're going to like it, and it's just a massive stress, and imposter syndrome kicks in and all that sort of thing, especially as a self-trained flower farmer florist. So in the end I just moved over to buckets of flowers and stayed there. Well,
that's my bread and butter. I mean, I do every weekend from April till September, buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets and buckets of flowers. And the kind of customer who likes those is the kind of customer I like.
Yeah.
We all get on really well. That's brilliant. So you're going to visit lots more flower farms. Anyone you want to share with us where you're going to go?
Tomorrow I'm heading to Kim at Marston Farm.
Oh, you're going to have fun there.
I actually watched part of your farm tour with her the other day. And yeah, I've got a few more. I've got a list of people I need to work through, but there's kind of a lot of them are concentrated down south, so it's going to take me a few trips down here to get through everybody, but it's going to be a bit of a rush getting everybody in before the end of the season. So.
I know, that's the challenge, isn't it? I remember I went and interviewed Rebecca at Silver Grey Foliage, and it was really, really the end of the season. She still had, it was one of those years where the helichrysum just went on and on and on, but everything else was gone. But it's interesting. I think it's really interesting to see the bones of a garden and the bones of a flower farm when it's not necessarily in full production.
Yeah.
But equally, people like you want to see the flowers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, good luck. It's such a great idea to be travelling around seeing lots of flower farmers.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really looking forward to gaining lots of insights, and hopefully it'll make me into a better grower eventually.
Well, I'm sure. And good luck finding your next patch of land. What would be the 3 things you would say you're looking for in your patch of land?
I actually made a video about this last week. I was considering what I would need on a flower farm. One would be good access for machinery in case I needed to have bulk deliveries of compost and that kind of thing. Good location to sell into, and water on site probably.
You'd be surprised how people sometimes don't think about that, or they think they've been offered a piece of land and they're like, it's too good to turn down, and you say, but is there any water? And they go, no, but I'll collect it off the shed roof.
Yeah,
and it's not
a challenge. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
I hope your camera's been charged up. And thanks very much for watching, everybody. And we're now going to swap round, and I'll be on Sarah's channel. So ping over there and see all the fantastic things. Your channel is really inspiring. You're very good at your market bouquets, and it's great because I think there are so many different kinds of flower farmer, and there are so many different kinds of flower farmer on YouTube.
Yeah.
That if you're thinking about flower farming, or you are a flower farmer and you think, I'm just, I need a, after a while, anything you do is boring.
Yeah.
Unless you evolve it.
Yeah.
So if you feel like you need a change or you want to see how somebody else does it, Sarah's YouTube is absolutely fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Right, I know how to get up and turn this off because we're very low grade here.